there, that is Nick Cameron from Glacially Musical, along with my assistant, the intern, Gigi the cat. He's not helpful. He's actually very, very unhelpful, but delightfully adorable. Today, before we get started, I don't know if you can see that from back where you're at, but I'm starting to have records on this side. I have decided for the first time now that I have more room, now that I have over 600 of these-ish, that it is time to start getting them in some sort of order. For the past 15 minutes, we have been searching through this big pile, which is completely unorganized, to find the albums to discuss in this video. And I'm still getting these things pushed back, which is extraordinarily unprofessional, and I'm sorry, but I'm an unprofessional person. Trying to find the last record for this video, we were joking, my daughter and I were joking amongst ourselves that hopefully this doesn't become like MC Lars and Mega Ran, because we couldn't find MC Lars and Mega Ran for, seems like a week of us searching through all of this, trying to find one record, and we could not find it. I finally found it today, and I'll get to that when we get there. So today I want to talk about 5 records that I am personally very thankful to have on vinyl. Some of them are original pressings, some of them are, and I'll get into each one as it goes along, but this isn't about necessarily their value or their rarity or anything like that, because for me, these are just albums that I am really, really thrilled to be able to listen to on my 1970s receiver, my 1975 turntable, until I get a brand new Fluence turntable, that is, and my old speakers, and just to sit in my music listening room and enjoy some great music on vinyl rather than digital sources or CD sources. And without further ado, let us begin. I'm starting with this one because you could probably already see it. Obviously, this is Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is not an OG pressing, as anybody can tell. This is actually a sticker. They didn't print it. They put a sticker on this. This is from the recent 180-gram remasters. That almost went really badly, and we would have canceled the video. But that's not the point. This is just my absolute favorite single album, period. This is an album I originally had on cassette. It was a 1980s pressing on cassette, obviously. It was one of the gray ones. Those were hideous. And this was the album that I listened to in order to help me get through some pretty awful times in my adolescence. This particular copy isn't valuable, it isn't rare, it's not a first pressing, it's not an OG pressing, obviously. This one, however, is the first time I got this album for Christmas. I want to say last year, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before now.
I think it was the year before.
Not helpful, Peanut Gallery. Anywho, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but this is the only time that I can think of that my wife bought me a record. Not, allow me to buy them or anything like that, which, yes, she's the accountant, it's fine. Because, if you let me spend all of our money however I want it, look at this. This is 5 years. This is just over 5 years of being into vinyl, and I'm already here. So that's why I'm not allowed to be in charge of the money. But this one, however, it's very special to me because of who got it for me, because of how I acquired it. She has never been horribly against me doing the records, except when it gets too expensive. But this is the only time where she's ever gone into my Amazon wish list, gone in and bought something, because she knew I didn't have it. I did have at that time a copy of the Roger Waters 2015 soundtrack concert, which is spectacular if you've never heard it. So, we are moving on. You're going to notice a bit of a theme in these albums. This here is the one, the only, Kiss Alive. Kiss Alive is, in my opinion, the world's greatest live record. I know it's fake. Don't comment, don't say anything. I know. How fake is it? I don't know. In my personal belief, what they did was they took the multi-tracks of the several concerts they filmed and they piecemealed them together into one concert by bringing in Ace's guitar from Moline, or excuse me, from Davenport, or Paul's vocals from Detroit, and so on and so forth, in order to mind meld it into this amazing record. This album is doubly special for me because this was my birthday present in 2015. This was the first record I was ever given as a gift. My best friend, my hetero life mate, got me this record along with the Johnny Cash album. I don't have any of the cool inserts or anything like that, but I don't care. That's not why I have this album. I have this album because my best friend bought it for me, and I cleaned it, and it's in spectacular shape. Mm-hmm. He picked it up for a very reasonable $6 at Record Exchange on Hampton if you are in the St. Louis area. Alive, this, and like The Wall as well. Well, no, unlike The Wall. I'm sorry. We're going to skip that. Moving forward, I know this album isn't live in any sense of the word. I know it wasn't recorded only in Detroit in any sense of the word. In fact, at the end of Love Gun, you can hear Gene clearly say, "Let me hear you, Quad City," which is obviously from the Davenport, Iowa show. Shout out to the Quad Cities. I still hate the Mallards, but you guys are all right. It was fun being up there. I hope to see you again soon. But it's a truly inspired album. It's a truly amazing record. Except for Peter Criss's drum solo, because Peter Criss's drum solos always suck, especially this one, because it's about 8 minutes long. 8-minute long drum solos are basically torture. So, we are moving forward. Next. This is Black Sabbath Live Evil, the first official Black Sabbath live album that they recorded on purpose. It is also with the man, the myth, the legend, Ronnie James Dio. It's also the first record in this collection to have a jacket. This one, love this record. I don't know how live it is. I assume it's a bit more live than alive, but also cleaned it. Looks spectacular as well. This album represents the very first music I could call my own. In 1986-ish, I believe it was 1986, my cousins for Christmas got me a copy of this on cassette. And it was the first music that was ever my own. And I had actually gotten into Ozzy Ozzy then Sabbath, not Sabbath then Ozzy. And I got into Dio, then Dio Sabbath, not Dio Sabbath, then Dio. Did it all backwards. But to this day, the Dio versions of these songs are still my favorite. The Dio incarnation of Sabbath is still my favorite. Obviously, I have this. I've also got the Mob Rules. I picked up Heaven and Hell on a great price at a vinyl sale at the local bar near my house. So that was pretty awesome too. This one though, this album is so... It's great. It's special. I love the fact they illustrated it with the songs. War Pigs, Children of the Sea, Neon Nights, Heaven and Hell, Paranoid, Voodoo. I don't know what he is. Sorry. But it's a great cover. Although really they probably should have put a picture of the band, but they might have been trying to divert from the fact that the band was no longer original. But because this album because this is a vinyl copy of the first cassette I ever owned, it makes it very special. I found this for $20 at the Future Antiques Antique Mall in St. Peters, Missouri, which unfortunately has since closed during the pandemic. And I don't know where that particular vendor went, which makes me really upset because I got quite a few really cool records from him, including some other Ozzies, some other Dios, and more. This pressing is a Columbia House pressing. So it's not even the official pressing, as we all know how Columbia House worked. Now, the final record of my top 5 is something... Oh, I'm sorry. That was only the third. I miscounted. We're going to go to number 4, or number 2.
What?
The second to last record. I apologize. Second to last record in the countdown of the things that I am most thankful for having on vinyl is this one. This is MC Lars's Greatest Hits. It was pressed in very small quantities. It was only pressed in, I believe it was 100 pieces. And because of that, it's quite rare. And MC Lars fans, like MC Chris fans and Mega Ran, and I presume Schaefer and, in front are all the same. They don't, okay, I'm gonna have to put this down because it keeps moving over. Fix that door. It's, the fans that buy these aren't flippers. They aren't people trying to make a buck. They don't buy them to get rid of them. They buy them to have them forever. So this was pressed, I want to say in 2011, no, like 2012, 2013, before Edgar Allan Poe EP, before Zombie Dinosaur, before any of that. So a lot of the cool stuff that's there didn't make it into the greatest hits. MC Lars actually did a fan voting contest to determine what songs he was going to put on here, which is really cool because he gave his fans the opportunity to pick the tracks. But it has a lot of my daughter's favorites, a lot of my favorites, which is what makes it exceptionally cool. But what I really, really love about this is nerd rap that I can listen to with my daughter. When it comes to MC Chris or Spose or all those guys, there's a lot of stuff that if she could hear it, she would really, really like. But my wife would get really, really upset about her hearing. I can't imagine my daughter understanding Japanese Maid or, I'm Awesome and stuff like that. Those songs are great songs to me, but she's not ready. She's only 9. So this is something we can listen to together and really enjoy. And that's why I'm thankful to have that one. I also got really, really, really lucky and got it really, really below market value. I got that on Discogs. Normally they go for $70 to $80, which, it isn't a huge sum of money, but for me, I value quality and quantity almost equally, which is probably wrong, but I wasn't willing to spend the $60 or $70 to get it. When I saw it for $25, even though it was a bit of a bleak time frame for money in my pocket, I went ahead and ordered it immediately because I knew that was something my daughter would enjoy. Mm-hmm. Now, the final album on my countdown of albums I am pleased to have on vinyl is 1992's Coverdale and Page. Coverdale and Page was the very short-lived project between Jimmy Page and David Coverdale. It's also, in my opinion, the spark that led to the Pagey and Plant reunion. This album, I was talking to a customer of mine the other day who was telling me about how her dad realized he had trunks and trunks and trunks of old records in his basement, and he decided, these are probably worth a lot of money. I'm going to try selling these. And I asked her, well, what does he have? Because if we're talking about, first pressings of the Beatles, first pressings of Jimi Hendrix or Pink Floyd, yeah, there's some money there. But if we're talking about Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass Band, it's not. And that's what, it's thrift shop material. And I explained to her what's really surprising is the most valuable records I have come across aren't the old ones, aren't the represses, aren't that. It's the stuff from 1990 to 2005 when it wasn't pressed, when not much was pressed into vinyl. This particular record, to the best of my knowledge, was only pressed for England, South Korea, and Brazil. I have a Brazilian copy. This record represents the most I've spent on a single album. It was $100 shipped from Brazil. The cover is a little beat up. Got some bent corners. Got some creases down the spine. Got some creases down here. But I don't care. I don't have albums in order for them to be more valuable later, for my daughter to have a nest egg when I die, I have these records in order to spin them, listen to them, and love them. And that's the only reason. This one, what makes it special was for Father's Day, I received a certificate from my wife and daughter saying that because I was so priceless to them, I was allowed to buy one record regardless of price. And I've read that 3 or 4 times thinking to myself, they're nuts. They don't mean this, do they? I mean, I can't really do that, can I? And I said, you know, this means I'm just going to buy that Coverdale Page album. It's $100. And my wife just said, well, it's a good thing you have a certificate then, isn't it? What I realized was I made the mistake. I should have bought Motley Crue self-titled or Marilyn Manson's Portrait of an American Family, but I didn't. So, but those are my favorite 5 albums I am thrilled to have on vinyl. If you have any questions, feel free to put a comment below, and I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you very much.